JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a manga series that I greatly enjoy, and I've been greatly enjoying it since who knows how long, really. Point is that I am caught up, and I've yesterday just finished reading the latest chapter of Part 9, the JoJo Lens, and I want to let everybody know my thoughts on each part while also ranking each part. This is going to be me going over parts 1 through 8, that Phantom Blood, Battle Tendency, Stardust Crusaders, Diamond is Unbreakable, Golden Wind, Stone Ocean, Steel Bell Run, and JoJo Inn. However, I will not be ranking the JoJo Lens, and as that is a completely new part and is still unfinished. However, my thoughts on that are honestly I'm pretty hyped about how it's gonna go after seeing the latest chapter, especially because that was just bananas. But I don't want to stall too long, so let's just get into my least favorite part. At the number 8 spot, we have. I'm not going to spend too long talking about this one and the next one coming up, but there's nothing inherently wrong with part 1. It's just Araki's first part, and it's him basically getting his feet wet into this new series that he has dubbed JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There's nothing wrong with this at all. It introduces JoJo's reason for existing, which is Dio and Jonathan Joestar. Both are two very important characters, basically throughout the entire series, in a sense. My only criticism being it's just too short. It's mainly presented as more of a prologue than it is like its own thing. It's so short that it's only 40 something chapters and it's like 8 episodes long on the anime. It's not a bad part by any means. There is so many cool moments. That fight with Jonathan and Dio, so good. It's just not my favorite part, and I don't think anyone's gonna really argue with me if I prefer something else or if I put this at the bottom. So yeah, that's all I have to say about part 1. It's short, but there's nothing really wrong with it. It's pretty good. You see, Battle Tendency is a decent step up for JoJo, but it's not that much of a step up for JoJo, if you know what I mean. The writing is definitely better. The main character, Joseph, is way better of a main character than Jonathan is, because Jonathan was kind of a boring main protagonist. And the Pillarmen are pretty cool antagonists. Wamu and ACDC being really entertaining fights. If I have to give my one gripe, is that Cars, by far, is my least favorite villain and the main villain in the entire franchise. I don't think I'm alone in this sense. I think he's cool, but he's flawed by the mere fact that he just does not appear enough in the part. Wamu and ACDC both have amazing moments. Cars is like, oh, he's there and suddenly he has personality, if that makes sense. Like once he injures Lisa and incapacitates her, he suddenly has all the personality in the world. And this is coming from someone that read both the manga and watched the anime. He's not that interesting, to be honest with you. It's tragic to say the least, because I know a lot of people love this part. If you were to say it's your favorite part, I would be a little confused, but kind of understand why it would be your favorite part. But once they introduced stands, that's, in my opinion, where the entire series got good. And I mean, like, really, really good. It was good before, but when they introduced stands, buddy, this story is in for a wild ride. Let's move on to number 6.
I'm in danger.
Fuck. Okay. Don't kill me, please. Don't kill me. I can explain myself. Calm down. So, I know what you're thinking. Why is part 3 one of the best parts, in your opinion, at number 6? Well, if this were an objective ranking, I'd probably rank it higher. Probably like in the top 3 or so, but this is a subjective ranking on my part. It's a personal ranking on my part. And this is where I personally believe part 3 to be. And the reason for that is this, I think it's just way too long. The minor fights, some of them don't hit. Sometimes minor fights in JoJo I really love because the minor villain in that context is a really good minor villain. In part 3, however, there are minor fights that I cannot fucking stand, for jokes aside, by the way. The ones in particular being the Forever fight and the Alessi fight. Because I just flat out hate those characters, especially Alessi. That has to be the worst fight in the entire series. I'm sorry, but that's my personal opinion. And the Forever fight, although Strength is a really cool stand, Forever, I don't like as a character. And I think you can probably guess why. I don't think I can say it on YouTube because I don't know how the YouTube world. Sorry, I'm still stuttering. I don't know how YouTube rules work really. Also, quite a bit of them are pretty forgettable. I mean, when I was looking up, I forgot about Ebony Devil. I forgot about the Empress fight. I forgot about High Priestess. And I'm like, while I was looking up the images for this, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that character. Not really at first, but I don't remember it. I remember it now, if that makes any sense. And to be fair, Rocky has made a lot of longer parts later on, but this is the first time he made like an over 100 chapter long part. So of course the minor villains aren't going to be too notable. However, Oingo Boingo, the Darby brothers, and obviously Vanilla Ice. God, I love that fight with Vanilla Ice and Polnareff. The amount of anger Polnareff had after killing his friends really shows within that fight. He fucking stabs his head and twists his neck like 180. It's amazing. And that's not even mentioning Jotaro versus Dio. That's what I mean. I prefer the Vanilla Ice fight in my personal opinion, but objectively, the Jotaro and Dio fight is probably the best fight in the series. I mean, Stardust Crusaders is still amazing part, but if I had to think about it, I wouldn't come back to this one as often as the other ones, unless I was like watching them or reading them all the way through, which I might do that again after this, in preparation for the Steel Ball Run anime. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about part 3, Stardust Crusaders. Let's move on to number 5.
God is good. God is great. God is good.
Is the hate for Stone Ocean warranted? Maybe not so much, but I will understand if you don't like this part. I also have it in the column. It's like an 8 out of 10. However, the reasons I don't like this too much is the same reasons I don't like part 3, just less so. That being the minor villains being somewhat unforgettable, but there's less unforgettable minor villains in this one than there are in part 3. Like the Yo-Yo Ma fight, that's another one of my least favorite fights, but it's not as bad as an Alessi fight, if that makes sense. I will say that everything post Prison Break is basically perfect. Bringing in 3 of Dio's other sons besides Giorno, and making them pretty interesting minor villains, to say the least. Like the Unglo fight with Bohemian Rhapsody, easily one of the better minor antagonist stands in the entire series. Not to mention Underworld. Underworld, I mean, might be pretty up there. I prefer Bohemian Rhapsody, but Underworld is pretty awesome. And Donatello Versus is a really cool minor character. Also, Poochie. Top 3 main villains in the series. Like, I love how they remake Dio without actually remaking Dio. Plus, he has one of the more heartbreaking backstories in general, and so does Weather Report, because they both share pretty much the same backstory. But like I said, a lot of the stuff pre-Prison Break is pretty, I do like Sports Maximum. I think he's an interesting minor villain. I think Gwess is decent enough. If I have to say one thing, it's that Anasui is easily one of my least favorite Jobros. And the Jobro cast in and of itself is kind of to be honest. Overall, it's not a bad part. It's definitely one of the more underrated parts. But yeah, I don't hate it as much as other people do. Let's move on to number 4. Part 5 is Easily, along with part 3, one of the more popular parts among Western viewers. Because besides Jotaro, Giorno is one of the better known Jojos throughout the entire series. And also, this is a point in the ranking where I don't have too much problems to say about the rest of these. I think the only criticism I would have about this one is the amount of plot holes this one has above every other part. Like the notorious BIG fight, Trish needed to grab Giorno's hands because they were completely severed. And without his hands, apparently he can't use his powers, despite him being able to use his powers without needing the use of his hands earlier on. Plus the power of him being able to reflect attacks onto people when they hit his creation, like animal creations. Putting those aside, this part is really cool because it's like completely different from the parts before it. It's a drastic change from the parts before it. A minor nitpick is that Diavolo is a cool villain, but he doesn't appear enough. Plus, his backstory is really convoluted, and I know the point of that is because it's supposed to be mysterious because that's how well he hit his past. But you know, it's a very weird concept for a backstory, which is cool, but I wanted to know a little bit more. Also, with the same issue with Cars, in that he doesn't really appear until way later in the part, or he doesn't really shine until like halfway through the part. Those are only minor nitpicks, though. Diavolo is still a cool villain, and his demise and being like infinitely killed forever is pretty fucking scary. One of the worst fates in all of fiction, to be honest with you. Also, not a forgettable minor fight, if I do say so if I do say so myself, because like every minor fight is pretty awesome, and it leaves you waiting for victory on every single one of them. I wish I had more to say about it because this is a really cool part, but that really is all I have to say about it. It's solid from start to finish. Anyway, let's move on to the next part. Fucking psych. Top 3 checkpoint, baby. Not to be that guy, but more people that watch me are not subscribed than there are subscribed. And it's not required, but it'd be really neat if you hit the sub button and like this video, because, you know, I got nothing better to do. Plus, it would be really nice if you did that. It only takes one press or one click if you're on a computer. And, of course, hit that bell for if you want to see more ranking videos, because this is going to be most of what I'm going to be doing besides dumb shorts. Anyway, I've ranted enough. Let's move on to number 3.
Where the fuck am I?
If I'm going to get hate for part 3 being so low, I'm probably also going to get hate for JoJoian being so damn high. I know it's like considered that JoJoian fans, there's like 20 of us, which is fucking funny, by the way, except not true. Because the 30 of us fans are very, very offended by those jokes, to be honest with you. Jokes aside, this is another very near perfect part, in my personal opinion. The Lokakaka or Rokakaka, depending on how you want to say it, that the organization, probably one of my favorite like groups in all of JoJo in terms of the villain's standpoint, because I think that the idea of them being like hidden in society and them trying to move up on the food chain essentially is a really cool idea. Also, Josuke, or Gappy, as the fans call it, to differentiate from Josuke, is a really silly Joestar, and also his story is really heartbreaking. I'm going to be honest, the backstory and why he exists is very, very sad. And to be honest with you, I'm a little teary-eyed just talking about it. It really sucks that this isn't very well liked, because it's a really good part, and and in my personal opinion, the rock humans are much cooler than the Pillarmen, which are they're basically like this similar except different universes, you know, because they're different humans essentially. Except I know why this part isn't very well liked, because it's the same reason I don't have it as my favorite or my second favorite, and it's pretty obvious. You don't get to see the main villain, that being Toru, until chapter 80 fucking 1. That is way too late into the part to be fucking introducing your main villain. He doesn't even feel like a main villain. He feels more like a final boss, and I don't like that idea. He Toru could have been so much cooler, and he's mostly carried by his stand, which is one of the coolest stand designs, by the way. It being just like a robot like stand, plus the ability to control Calamity is freaking overpowered, and it's almost hopeless towards the end until like Gappy gets go beyond. Like that final fight between Gappy and Wonderview is just absolutely insane, and how the protagonist group is basically his entire family. That I like that idea. It's like the Adams family in JoJo, in my opinion. Also, one of the the coolest minor villain in the entire series, Tamaki Dama with Vitamin C. Oh my god, his stand's terrifying. Him being able to soften things up. Jesus, like I don't know how to. I don't know. I can't explain enough on how much I love this part. It's just a shame that there's the one thing in the way, it being Toru, that's like definitely 100% flawed. It could have been so much better. I don't know why Araki fucked that up so hard. Like, that's just frustrating to me. But I think I've said enough about JoJoian, as good of a part it is. It's overall underrated. Okay, besides Stone Ocean, it's the most underrated part in all of JoJo. Let's move on to number 2. Yeah, part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, is one of 2 perfect parts that Araki has ever written. Like, Jesus, everything about this part is awesome. I mean, the switch from it being like a major villain to the small town villain of Kira, who is like a fetishist for hands that kills people, just like your average serial killer, but except with a stand to make people explode, you know? He doesn't want to control the world. He doesn't want something major or anything. He just wants to have a quiet life, fulfilling his fantasies, you know? Creepy to say the least, but I love the idea. Like, Kira is my second favorite villain in all of the franchise, and he, despite him only appearing in halfway through the part, he carries that half, almost. I also love how the part does not take it so seriously in the slightest. Like, this part is the slice of life kind of style. It's just the town of Morio, just like in part 8. And it's just them being in the entire town instead of having to travel to one place to another. The entire time they're just trying to find the killer. And I can 100% see if Death Note like was influenced by part 4 JoJo. I mean, the name Kira is used in this and in Death Note, if you ever watched or read that one. That's all unrelated. But also, Josuke, funny JoJo in the series. He's not my favorite, but he's up there, at least top 3. And also, I just love his design and his stand design. Really up there with one of the coolest designs in the entire series. And Okuyasu is definitely second favorite JoBro. I know some people might not like Koichi. I know a few people that don't like Koichi because they think he's annoying. But I like Koichi. He's cool. He's a reliable guy. Also, the idea to have all of the minor villains unrelated to the villain, excluding Kira's dad, obviously. I think it's really cool. This entire part is just like entertaining start to finish. There's nothing really wrong with it. But it's not my favorite JoJo part. And if you're paying attention, process of elimination, y'all already know what number 1 is. So, let's talk about easiest ranking in my life, by the way. I just want to point that out. So picture me. Stone Ocean anime just finished, and I am impatient for the Steel Bell Run anime. So I finally just go on and read the manga. This is back in like 2023-ish. And I'm just loving every second of reading this. Okay, so Johnny Joestar is like his magnum opus, besides A Funny Valentine, of course. which both, by the way, both from this freaking part. Also in this part, my favorite row in the series, Gyro Zeppeli. So that's three things that this part has above the other parts. The idea of Johnny being a utter asshole and it be him being the biggest underdog story in all of mankind is absolutely insane. And the fact that he's just fighting America essentially because Funny Valentine, the president of the United States, wants Jesus by his side to make America the biggest and best country around. It doesn't get more bizarre than that. That sounds like a very stupid idea for something, right? But it just works. And I'm just super excited for this to be finally animated starting this March. Because this, I genuinely hope this becomes like one of the best, most loved parts in the anime community, because I know some people are anime only watchers. Some people read the manga. Not everyone reads the manga. I just don't know why I said manga. I'm too chronically American or something. Perfect time for America to just constantly be happening, by the way, because stuff like that's happening in this part is almost happening in real life. Kind of half joking, but like this shit's it's just an amazing story. Awesome villain, awesome protagonist, awesome Jobro, awesome friendship between the two. And awesome minor villain fights. Also Diego, in my personal opinion, cooler than Dio. I don't know if that's gonna hurt some people's feelings, but I genuinely think so. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna be rereading this real soon, and I'm probably gonna still have the same opinion as I did just now, because I cannot help but love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run. And that's every JoJo's Bizarre Adventure part, besides the JoJo lens, because that's not finished, and that's why I'm not ranking it. But we will see where that will be probably in the next, I don't know, 5 years. Somewhat joking. We'll never know. But anyway, so that's all I have to say. If you like this ranking, please like the video and subscribe for more rankings. I mostly do music rankings. I will be soon probably doing a Gorillaz ranking on this channel, and maybe a Henry Cow ranking. Look for those up and coming rankings, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.